Well, good morning, guys. It is 42 degrees here in Pahrump on the 9th of November, 2024. And welcome to the comments video. And there's an elephant in the room here because I began to read the comments from yesterday. And there was initially my friend Desert Deb said, hey, there's like this high-pitched sound in the video. It sounds like my heater. And I realized, it's been cold in the morning, like the heater's going right now. And I figured, well, that must be the heater. Then more comments started pouring in, and they got more and more serious. Like, people were actually very uncomfortable with this, quote, high-pitched noise. So I went out and played the video a couple of times, and I didn't hear it. And then when there was we'll get to it, there was a comment where it was really severe, and then it dawned on me what I think is going on. And um, this thought occurred to me when I kind of figured this out. I thought, well, that's kind of funny. And then my thought was, you know what? It doesn't feel funny. I don't think it's funny at all. I think that what happened inadvertently had the potential to make some people really uncomfortable, and I feel bad about that. So I think this is what it is. Now, if you hear that high-pitched noise on this video, please comment immediately, and I'm going to take this video down and try to figure out what's really going on. But I think I have the answer. See this device here that plugs in the wall? I just got these. There were several of them. They are sonic devices to keep any rodents and insects at bay. And there are 3 settings on it, low, medium, and high. And the documentation warned, at the low setting, you won't hear anything. And at the high setting, some people hear it and find it disturbing. Well, I went to high, and I didn't hear anything. So I left 3 of these on the high sound. And I do know that as people age, sometimes we lose our range of hearing, in particular high frequencies. So what's entirely possible is that I can't hear this because I've lost the ability to hear at this frequency. However, I think there are users or subscribers out there that aren't handicapped by that, and we're hearing 3 of these high, and I think it must have been horrible. So I'm going to be convinced I'm going to watch these comments, and if I don't get anyone saying, especially, do me a favor, if you heard the high-pitched thing yesterday and you're listening today and it's gone, put that in the comment too, so I can rest assured that I'm not putting something like this out again. So thank you. And again, I apologize if I sent high frequency, uncomfortable sounds through your phone or your TV. It's totally inadvertent. So the first comment today is from Ken Gray on the taking care of myself. It was taking care of myself on the road, the long form video. I talked about Dottie and the vet, and I talked about my health care. And Ken says it's always good when our pets show an easement of pain and stiffness. That's what we got Dottie on, some medication for some early stages of arthritis. Don the First said, my husband had, on the same video, says my husband had severe knee pain, but when he finally went to an orthopedist, he was told it's not your knee, it's your hip. So very quickly he was set up for an operation for a new hip. It was an in and out the same day, but they held him over to the next day, and he came home. Recovery time was miraculous, and he said he wishes he'd done it sooner. What a difference it made. Wow. I do know that, I don't feel pain in my hip. I feel pain in my back, and when it's bad, I feel it in my in my thigh, really bad. And I found out the same thing. That's what we call referred pain. Pain that isn't felt at the origin, at the problem site. It's felt elsewhere in the body. So that makes perfect sense, and it's very common. On the same video, Marilyn Decker said, even in Ontario, Canada, chiropractic, physical therapy, and medications are not covered by our provincial health care. Wow, I didn't realize that. That's too bad. And I said Medicare covers 2 and 3. The meds you need a supplemental policy. So Medicare itself doesn't cover medications. That's Part D, and some people get it with a Medicare Advantage plan. But if you get a supplemental plan, you have to get a separate policy for medications. And they can be quite inexpensive if you're not dependent on an expensive medication. The policy can be, almost free. Not my case though. Mine's $89 a month because I have an expensive med. And Medicare covers chiropractic if the diagnosis is spinal subluxation and its treatment for that. Chiropractic is covered, and certainly physical therapy is covered. Let's see. And that was Marilyn Decker. I don't know if I had said that. And sorry, Marilyn, I almost missed saying your name. And Tim's, I can't pronounce it, but Tim wants to know, curious to know which injectable drug you take for blood sugar, Rob. Is it GLP-1? And I said yes, and he said, well, you're always looking for ideas. You've experienced with the GLP-1s should be of interest to many of us. You could discuss the brand name or compound you're on, your experience and cost. Just a thought. Well, you obviously know about this, Tim. Because I pay out of pocket now before I actually get on Medicare, I'm paying out of pocket for it, and it is to treat type 2 diabetes, and it is the compounded version of Mounjaro. And what does that mean? There are compounding pharmacies that are allowed to make the same generic version that the big pharma sells, and they do it for like a quarter or a third to a quarter to a third of the cost. So it's Mounjaro is the brand name, and if I were to pay out of pocket for that, it would be about $1,100 to $1,200 a month. I do the compounded version of the same medication, and it costs me about $350 a month, and out of pocket. So it's the compounded, and I've had good results with it. It suppressed my appetite. I've lost quite a bit of weight, and so far I haven't gotten a recent blood test, but my A1C was in A1C is a measure of blood sugar over a period of time versus a snapshot. And let me make sure I get this right. I want to tell you what normal range is for A1C. I know approximately, but I want to get it exactly. Okay, the normal A1C is below 5.7%, and I was at, I think, 6.1 or 6.2 on the medication. So it means it was substantially higher than that before I got on the medication. Probably this winter I'll do another blood test and see what the A1C level is. And actually, if you're interested, there are home A1C tests that you can do. They're a little expensive. So anyway, I'm not sure. I feel like doing a whole separate video on just a medication that I'm taking. There are people that have really severe side effects to this medication because it does affect your appetite, but one of the things is it really slows your digestion down, and some people have cramps and nausea and constipation. You can go out and there are lots of support groups for people that take these. It's called GLP-1 medications, and I'm one of the lucky ones. I don't really have side effects, but doing a whole separate video on a drug, I'm going to leave that to more. I'm fine just giving in general here what my personal response was, but doing a whole video on it, and that's better left to people that know a lot more about it than I do. So, but it was legit questions, Tim, for sure, and hopefully I answered them. Ken again on the comments video said, hey, you brought the peanut butter, and she woke right off, kept licking things because peanut butter makes everything taste better. I'm going to guess Ken, that's the video with the high-pitched thing. I bet you Ken's like me and he can't hear that. He didn't hear that because Ken would say something. Trust me, if Ken pulled up one of my videos and there was a high-pitched thing that was really obvious and distracting, he would be the first one to say, hey, there's a problem on this video. So if you could verify that, Ken, that would be good. Taking care of myself on the road. Robert Ballard says, hey, Rob, good to see that you're doing the necessary treatments on your spine and hip. We share the same concerns for lower spine and hip issues. I feel it's an age-related condition that most folks will get some level of pain in your late 60s. Even my doggies experience joint issues at age 8 and 9. Dottie's 9, so she's having issues. We both take medications for it, but in my case, I don't get any treats with the medicine. Proof positive, our doggies rule. Right, Dottie? Dottie's out like a light. It is early, 6:14 in the morning. Dot's vet visit results. Robert Ballard said, we took our doggies for their shots and checkups. The vet said our dog Cupcake was a bit overweight. I am pretty sure I heard Cupcake say, well, excuse me. Robert Ballard, dog does CPR. And Robert says, great story. It was a great story. All right, here we go. This is Desert Deb says, there seems to be a high-pitched hissing noise in your video. I wonder if anyone else can hear it. I thought it was my heater. And I said, LOL, it was my heater. And that's what I thought she was talking about. I don't know if you can hear the heater now in the background. So I figured that's what it was. But then I got these messages. Dan Hardesty said, I hear it too. And then this is the one that really got me, is Von Dutch says, thank you for saying something, Miss Deborah. Me yelling, make it stop while covering my ears didn't help. Take care, everyone. So Von Dutch, you're the one that made me say, whoa, wait a minute. This cannot be this soft heater fan that I'm hearing. This is something entirely different, and I hope I got the culprit here. I'm pretty sure. I'd be really surprised if I was wrong and it wasn't these things. So, but I left a couple of them plugged in at the low level. So there's still sound coming out of these. It's really critical if you hear it on this video to let me know in the comments. And especially if you heard it yesterday and you don't hear it today, that would be really good news, and I would feel so much better. Because in particular, someone saying, me yelling, make it stop while covering my ears, makes me feel awful that I was the cause of something like that. As inadvertent as it was still me, right? Anyway, I think that's it for today. That's not many comments, but maybe maybe that this thing really shut people down yesterday. Anyway, thank you. I apologize, and I thank you for watching the video. I remain grateful for you, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.